Hey.
Whoa, what is up? Kyber Cave After Dark. Woohoo!
Episode 4. Yay!
How you doing tonight, Mr. Ezra?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I heard you went hiking today.
Oh my gosh, I walked 5-6 miles today, maybe more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's from our house, it's 5 miles to the mall. I went to the mall.
Okay.
And then I went down to my old foster mom's house to have dinner, and that was about a mile or so. And then also we did more walking like inside Dave and Buster's and everything.
Wow, you went to Dave and Buster's today?
Yeah, we went to Dave and Buster's.
Damn, they got any cool new games?
Actually, they have, all their games are new in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it? What was the best game you played? Or did you play any games?
Yeah, we played every game. Probably the best game I played. They have a VR Star Wars game.
Ooh.
Where you can choose which saber you have. You can pick to have Ahsoka Tana's sabers. You can pick to have any of the character sabers.
Really?
You can pick dual wield Kylo Ren. You can do a lot of stuff. It's actually pretty cool. You can use the Force Lightning. You can use the Force, and at the end of it, you fight Darth Vader.
Wow. Hey, Say Wong, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hello.
Is that Vader Immortal?
Yeah, he doesn't die.
No. The name of the game is Vader Immortal, right?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the name.
Zayo had that on what do you call Oculus or whatever, but it was like really, really short. But there was like this one training level where like all these like probe droids and stuff, and you had your saber and you could like deflect the bolts and stuff like that. Yeah, that was cool, dude. I would love to be able to do a VR battle like that with like I want to beat your ass.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't need it. You can give me a dual wield. You can give me a stick and I'll beat your ass.
No, you won't. I have beaten you. Oh, by the way, I have a little co-host.
Hello, Cuddle Kitty.
I don't know if you heard him, but he said hello.
That's my buddy, Cuddle Kitty. So we got a few things to talk about tonight. One thing I definitely want to say at the top of the show before we get going is if you were under the age of 13, this may not be a show for you, so piss right off. We don't want you here.
Let's find a nicer way to say that next time.
Okay, get the hell out. No cheering's allowed.
This is a show for more mature audience. Parent discretion is advised if you have your young ones watching.
Or immature audiences, I guess, depending on how you want to say. Wong, you're not 13, are you?
No, you're not 13.
The man drives. I don't think he's 13.
Well, I mean, he could be illegally driving.
I guess this is true. So we have one more host that's coming in tonight. And, another interesting thing I was thinking we can do, Ezra, is, maybe every once in a while, if it's just you and me on a night, we can throw a link out to one of our guests out live and have them get in on discussion as well.
That'd be dope.
Cursing on the internet. Or does Zuckerberg know? No, we don't tell Zuckerberg everything. This is on.
You mean Zuckerbot?
This is on our. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube page already, please do. You may be watching us on Twitch. Thank you very much if you are subscribed there. Woo! And if you're on Facebook, go over to YouTube and Twitch or Twitch and subscribe there for us kindly. And you will know about all of our shows that we have. We currently have 3 shows a week. And that may be going up to at least 4 and possibly 5 shows a week.
Maybe 7.
I don't know what other 2 you have planned, but the 2 I'm talking about is I was talking about Kyber Cave Gaming.
Yeah, and, that might be a multiple day a week thing.
Right.
What I'm planning.
Oh, multiple day a week. Okay, that's what you meant. Okay. And then Kyber Cave Models. I guess Dawn was talking about doing modeling kits.
Hey, John D. Michaels.
Hey, John Michaels is in the house. Fuck yeah, no kids. So we are looking up to going up to possibly 5 nights a week, but we are 3 nights a week right now. Friday nights, Kyber Cave After Dark. Where you're at. Saturday nights is Kyber Cave cosplay builds at the Kyber Cave featuring Dark Saber.
There you
And
go.
Sunday night is Saber Rattle. We got somebody good on for Saber Rattle this week, don't we? I'm actually kind of excited. What do we got for Saber Rattle this week?
We have a director of a film. He is making a Mandalorian fan film, from what I've heard so far.
Ooh. And when you say Mandalorian, you mean just Mandalorian in general, or like Din Djarin?
I believe Din Djarin from the photos I have seen. Tune in on Sunday just to find out.
You will have to find out. Do we get any like little clips of the film or anything?
We did, yes.
I'm
those
excited.
Those will also be aired Sunday.
I am very excited. So yeah, so if you are interested in finding out about found films or people that are making them or how they do it, I know John Michaels just got a new computer and he is working with Unreal Engine right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, and if you've seen some of the videos and stuff that have come out with Unreal, in fact, I've seen some fan-made Star Wars videos that have come out with Unreal. I think there's one about Darth Malik.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's one about Darth Malik that's floating around online out there. That's very cool. Speaking of which, dude, have you seen? They now have the Guinness World Record for the first ever lightsaber.
From who?
Mandalorians are Unreal. Mandalorians use Unreal, doesn't it? Actually, I think Mandalorian does use Unreal Engine. And then they have the volume. Oh my god, I absolutely love the volume. That's where they do all of their filming. But that is like such a step up in technology. I would kill to direct something in the volume. Okay, so wait, what were we just saying? What we were saying before that? Before I went off on that?
No clue.
So at any rate, so Sunday night we have a fantastic show for you. So make sure to check us out on all of our medias, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. Oh,
and wait,
Lightsaber. That's what we were talking about.
Another thing is our very own James Kaiser is in it.
In the fan film?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Is he? Well, I'm guessing he's going to be a costume character of some sort.
No clue. And I'm not allowed to give anything away that I know, so.
Oh, you know things?
I know a couple things.
I'm going to have to kill you. So anyways, Guinness Book World Records, first ever lightsaber has been created. Now, some people may have seen that there was another group of people who made a lightsaber, I want to say 5 or 6 months ago. But the difference with that was it was more of a proto saber. So it was hooked up to a backpack.
The hacksmith.
Right, yes. The one that's been invented now has no tank on it. So it's just a handheld
Is it
saber.
Disney's?
Huh?
Is it Disney's thing?
No. It shoots flames. It's kind of like the hacksmith, but there's no like tank attached to it. However, it only lasts for like 30 seconds. If you Google Guinness Book of Records first lightsaber, it'll pop up. Blurry. What does blurry film say? I saw that they popped something up here.
And I'm Googling the Guinness World Record thing. Let's see.
You got to play the VR Batu game. Very fun. Ooh, makes me laugh harder than running out of ammo for my blaster and eating it out of thugs to kill them. The VR Batu game, is that on Oculus or is that at actual like in Disneyland at Batu's? The Galaxy's Edge, that's what I'm thinking about. Oh, that sounds like fun, dude. I want to eat some stormtroopers.
And then look who we have. We have Steve Jordan.
Steve Jordan is in the house. Master Builder Supreme. So, So are you able to bring up that little lightsaber video or no? Are you able to show people that?
I didn't find it. I'm looking at it now. All the ones that are coming up is the hacksmith.
It's YouTube Guinness Book of World Records. Type that. First
How
lightsaber.
I made a real lightsaber Guinness World Record.
Pause,
oh, wait. It's copyrighted. I can't show that. We can get taken down.
Well, at any rate, you guys can look it up on your own. It is super cool. It is a handheld one, though. So, like I said, I think it only lasts like 30 seconds before
oh, yeah. I see it right here. Although the Hacksmith one looks better, from what I am looking at.
The Hacksmith one is like the steampunky version.
Well, they're also working on another one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They're working on like 3 different ones right now. They're working on a Kylo Ren, Ahsoka Tano.
Oh,
all sorts of different sabers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Steve says, I'm no master. I'm a tradesman.
The one that the Guinness World Record just did, the lightsaber instead of the proto saber.
Right.
The flame isn't as precise. It's more like Kylo Ren's cracked crystal saber, where it's like sparkling off to the side and all that.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Hey, John, if you were still on, I would love to get you in on the discussion tonight. We're going to be talking about a couple of different things. We're going to be talking a little bit about Book of Fett, just because we have finally caught up on it, and I've been wanting to talk about it. So if you have not seen Book of Fett, spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about it. And then after that, our discussion is we are going to be talking about the rise of artificial intelligence.
Are we all going to die?
Are we all gonna die? So yes, Dawn. Actually, we're waiting for Dawn to log in again. He had this problem with it. Okay, I only see Cuddles now. It's just Cuddles' head. And I know Dawn had some stuff that he wanted to. This actually was based off a conversation we had one night, late night at the house. So hopefully we can get him on that. But John, if you were there and you would like to be part of this discussion, we will happily throw you a link. If you want, I'm caught up as well. So hit me up with the link. You want to have Steven talk about Book of Fett?
Sure.
Throw Steven a link. This will be kind of fun. We've never actually done this with a viewer before. I mean, like, it's not like we don't know who Steven is, but
he'll be on all 3 of our shows now.
Saber Rat. Oh yeah. Let's see. He's like the first tri-crown Disney princess. The Kyber Cave princess.
Let's see. Steve Jordan.
So, who has been keeping up with the Book of Fett? I know, I'm sure Say Wong is our resident Din Djarin in here at the Kyber Cave. What are you thinking, Ezra? In general, not necessarily just the last episode, and we've only got 2 episodes left.
Oh yeah, we do, huh? So, Book of Fett, I actually quite enjoy. I enjoy the story that they're going with. The whole, like, Boba's trying to take over Tatooine.
Right.
Kind of feel. I didn't like the last episode so far. I mean, I liked it as like a Mandalorian episode.
Right.
It wasn't a Book of Fett episode until like the very end, and we never even saw Boba in it.
Right. Well, you see Fennec Shan coming in like the last 5 minutes. Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Hey, and no, it was only 2 shows I was on. One was the Build show, and this is my second show.
Oh, okay. So not Saber Rattle.
I thought it was Saber Rattle.
Not yet. However, wait. We can rattle our sabers now.
Hang on. Let me pull you up. I want to see that.
This is what I call my Sith Lord Obi-Wan Kenobi saber. I actually got this one. This is the one I actually got fixed, and it actually goes right in.
Ooh.
It's a saber forged lightsaber. I bought the secondhand off of somebody else. It's a stunt model, but
is that a Luke or is that an Obi-Wan?
It's supposed to be Obi-Wan from what the guy said, but it's a Prodigal 2 or Prodigal Son 2 or 1, I forget which, but it's the weathered version. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just make up a cosplay of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Pretty old, but it's a Sith Lord, and yeah.
Dark Side Obi, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll make sure I have my little shank too. Hold up. Let me get this working. There we go.
Ooh. I have my little. You know what I haven't shown off yet? As is my Grogu Saber. It's because we haven't been at the shop on Sunday nights the last couple of weeks.
Oh no, that's right. You guys have been doing it from home. That's right.
Yeah. We've been doing it from the house. And so my Grogu Saber, I got the shadow foil props. It's called the Child is the name of the saber, but I have that there at the shop, but I haven't gotten a chance to show it off yet.
I'm still gonna buy the one that you and I discussed. The other the one that you have that the one we were talking about in private.
And we're gonna I'm so excited too. Kyber Cave has some exciting announcements coming up. I don't necessarily know that I could talk about things right now tonight, but we will have let's just put it this way. I'm hoping that by the end of February, we will have a huge brand new assortment of lightsabers. We're kind of taking a step backwards and we're going back into our sales as opposed to pushing forward with the machines. It's going to be a little more time. We're just now starting with our classes anyways. So it's going to be a little more time there, but we will be selling other sabers. We'll have our website refilled back up again.
Good.
Oh, so Stephen, what are you thinking of Book of Fett in general?
Well, so far I love it. It explains a whole hell of a lot of like things that the book initially that they had of Boba Fett, certain differences, but this one is more shows you the adventure, but then when you read the book you kind of have to use your imagination. That's kind of when you have that porn, as I call it, the Star Wars porn,
right?
And yes, I do read a lot of women's smut books, which I will tell you, the ones that the ladies like to buy, and it's just like
the romance novels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, there's a lot of porn in that, but I ain't gonna go into that. But anyhow, being that it's a Kyber Cave after dark.
All right. We can get a little more risque on the show.
A little more risque. Yeah. Oh yeah. How you doing?
So Book of Fett. What are you thinking? What's good about it to you? What's bad? What are you thinking, Ezra?
It was pretty good. The show itself is a good show. The storyline is amazing. I like how they went back and forth with like, this is the past, this is the future, or this is the present kind of feel.
Having the flashbacks?
Yes, I loved the whole having like the backstory of how he found Fennec, how he modded her.
Right. I love that moment of intersection where the Mandalorian and the Book of Fett met together, where Fett is sitting out in the desert and he sees the flare go up in the air, and that was our tie-in to the Mandalorian.
Yeah. The problem I saw about that, if you look at Mandalorian with that particular scene where it's Boba Fett walking up.
Yeah.
Now you'll notice there's a difference.
The spur sound?
No.
Oh.
Go back to either scene. Look at the front of the boots. They're totally different.
Oh, continuity error. I know that someone was mentioning that, like, when you in the Mandalorian, the first time Boba makes his entrance, you distinctively hear two sets of spurs.
Yes, you do.
And on top of that, he wasn't wearing any spurs. Right. But in the second one, he was only, hey, what's up?
Hi.
He only had one set of sounding spurs. So when you saw Boba Fett the second time, the sound was even slightly different. Holy crap, that cup is loud. What is in there? Ice?
Yeah, it's ice.
It's jingles.
Also,
loud.
I called that shot. I knew the first time I saw that shot. I knew it was Boba Fett. I had something
in Mandalorian.
Yeah, when it first came out in Mandalorian, that shot was just like, I know it. I know that's got to be Boba Fett. There's 100% chance. Like, there's no way that it's not.
All right.
And I remember I told my friend actually at that time too, and I was like, that's Boba Fett. And like, no, they're not gonna bring him back. I'm like, no, they are, man. It's gonna be Boba Fett. You watch.
Well, that's his signature spur sound. That's why they added that in there, which I thought was funny because he's not actually wearing spurs in that shot, but you still hear the and that's just the way I'll have to say Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are geniuses of dropping you the subtle hints where you know exactly what's going to happen, but you're still freaking excited for it.
Yeah, for sure. I felt as though, and I could be remembering this wrong, but the shot originally did have something different with his feet. Like that was a different shot that originally shot than the one we saw last episode. Exactly. So like his feet were different. What he was wearing on his shoes was not the same.
That's what Steve was just saying. Yeah. As you were jumping in, he was saying that he noticed the continuity errors between the two.
Yep.
Right.
The two. But you know what? Like, I'm gonna give that to them, dude. It's only us nerds, like us hardcore nerds that like have nothing better to do in our lives, that are like, oh my god, his boots are different from two different series.
Yeah, but you know what though? You got to remember one thing: when they do filming, they want you to they want to see how much you're paying attention. And whether you know it or not, in some of these movies that they make or TV shows, they do little Easter egg things where they want to see how much your knowledge is of your fandom.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, that's Marvel, DC, and Star Wars is like a whole thing now. Speaking of which, I want to ask you guys, what did you guys on this last episode personally? Well, first, before I ask the question, I want to say I personally thought it was a terrible episode of the Book of Fett, but a fantastic episode of The Mandalorian. But what did you think about the Phantom Menace shout outs, right? We had the going through the canyon. They even had the ramp where Anakin like busted through. That ramp was still broken there. Yeah, we had the N1 Starfighter. Come on now.
They gotta add certain things. They gotta add certain things to it, but it actually worked out well because, not for nothing, when that lady, had that Naboo Starfighter and added a little more to it and made it a little more faster.
Pelimoto.
Yeah, I gotta say she's a genius. She knows what she's doing. She made the new Corvette, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
What do you guys think about Din Djarin flying an N1 though?
I think it's stupid.
I think
I didn't like it. I mean, okay, I like the N1.
No,
how could a bounty hunter fly that?
Right, because where's he going to put his bounties?
No, I could see that for like on-world missions.
Right, but he still needs that still does nothing for his job. That'd be like if I was a postal truck driver driving my Mini Cooper.
No. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. It's like he was best off with the Razor Crest. You know what I'm saying? But she said, "Oh, I found something that's nice, this, that, the third," and I'm like, "Okay, it's small. He's gonna break this thing sometime soon, and he's gonna have to get another ship anyhow, and he's gonna have to do some modifications for a bigger ship. And his best bet's just to get himself an Imperial ship that he can sit there and just do something with that, because half the Imperial ships that are out there, if it's a military class ship, he could turn around and take one of them because some of them don't have that signature on it."
Yeah, I was thinking, the other thing too is like if you watch season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, Din Djarin beats the crap out of his ships, dude. Like an N1, it seems like a very fragile. You know what I mean? It's like driving a really nice sports car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Apparently, I guess the N1 Naboo's, those were built specifically for the Queen. They're all handmade, so there apparently was not, Whereas with an X-Wing, there would be hundreds of them, easy to get parts and stuff. With the N1s, there was like 16 or 17 of them. So to be able to have one functioning.
Well, no, what the thing of it is it was meant for the Queen's Guards. It was meant for the Queen's fighters.
Right.
That's basically what it was meant for. It wasn't meant for anything else except for a quick attack. And if it blows up, okay, you make a new one. Big whoop.
Well, apparently those were very expensive to make. I guess they were they had the chrome on it. It was supposed to be kind of a show of being flashy, that they could afford, the nice ships. because they were really, I mean, Naboo, they weren't attacking other systems. They just needed defensive ships.
Yeah,
but apparently those things fly like a Jedi starfighter. They're just really quick and really, really agile.
That's all they were meant to be. It's like the X-Wing fighter. The X-Wing fighter can move all over the place, and but the X-Wing fighter's got a lot more to it than the Naboo class starfighter.
What do you think, Don, of the N1?
I think it's very interesting that they chose to give that to him. You know what I mean? You were saying like that. I think that they actually kind of fixed the whole not being able to hold a passenger thing. Like I said, like they mentioned something about the droid spy being hogged out. Basically,
that's not big enough for a person. Like that's gonna be Grogu's jump seat. You can totally see that's gonna be Grogu's jump seat.
Right. I think that that the whole thing's going in a pretty crazy direction right now, especially with like showing him that he doesn't have the showing him that he doesn't have the ability to use Darksaber correctly right now. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I really feel like he's going to end up going to visit Luke and Grogu. And I feel like he's going to end up getting some training or trying to get some training from Luke on how to use it.
Oh, he will.
I feel like that's what the direction they're going with. You know what I mean? Because they made it very clear that he doesn't know how to use it. And they also made it clear that he's going to, reunite with Grogu.
Simply, and we'll step over to the Darksaber in a second, but sticking with this chip for just a second, I think it's a very clear signal from Favreau and Filoni that the Mando that you're used to seeing, the bounty hunter, the guy that carbon freezes people like mythosaurs and stuff, right? The guy that's doing that, he's going to be Mandalorian season 3. He's going to be taking a different direction. I mean, obviously he can't do a lot of the bounties like that. It's going to be a different story than what we have been accustomed to these first 2 seasons.
Well, we've also been told that Boba is no longer doing bounty work.
Well, of course not, because he's like, I'm not going to get killed for some idiot. I might as well just, turn around, get my riches, and be like, you want to get killed for that? That's right.
So
I've got enough of it. I'm done. I'm going to sit back and steal and get the spoils. And oh, by the way, since I've pretty much earned it, not your turn.
So is Mando going to, in season 3 of Mandalorian, is he going just to go get the training from Luke, like we previously said, and then is he going to go and focus on trying to rule Mandalore? Is that what the direction that he might go in?
No, I think personally, all right, number one, he doesn't have force powers. That's number one. He doesn't have that high midichlorian count. That's number one. Second of all,
that we don't know that. Maybe he does.
No, because I mean, think about it. It would have been said somewhere along in the first episode, because not for nothing, how come is it that he couldn't communicate with Grogu like Ahsoka Tano did?
Well, and then there's different levels too. Like I've heard some people say that there's theories that Han Solo is actually force sensitive. Now, just being force sensitive doesn't mean that, you can be force sensitive, but have no training or no actual, knowledge of how to use the force, but still be imbued with part of it. So that they were saying because of some of his flying and his ability that he had Jedi-like reflexes, and that maybe that there are individuals that have the force ability. They just have no training on how to use it. Din Djarin could be in that same position.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past it, but then again, like I said, they would have actually made a lot of hints about that. That's the only thing, but they never did. So it's
like I said, I don't think necessarily that he's going to become like force sensitive or anything like that, but I definitely still think that he's going to need some kind of training on how to use this weapon. Now, there's also the other aspect of which where he's not going to go back to the armorer because he's basically been kicked from that right now. Right. You know what I mean? So, and there's no way of becoming that again. So now he has to try to make a choice on whether or not he's going to try to stick with that clan that he was already with and find a way to do that, or to go in and realize that they are a bit extreme and look at the Mandalorians in a different way, like Bo-Katan does. You know what I mean? He has a big choice to make right now. You know, because I doubt that he's just going to be like, okay, well, I'm not a Mandalorian anymore. That's the end of it.
Well, no, he'll still be a Mandalorian. It's just the problem is he's just not going to be the true Mandalorian where they always wore the helmet and nobody ever saw the face.
No, she said he was out, dude.
Right. They specifically said you were no longer a Mandalorian. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying, you know.
Heals himself in the waters of Minnetonka.
Yeah, it has to go bathe in this water, like fully submerged in this water.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that don't exist anymore.
I don't know.
In order just to get cured, just to be able he can wear his armor again.
Okay. So here's my question, and I'm going to direct this towards Dawn and or Ezra. Do you think, because he has this dark saber, and you can obviously tell when the armorer was telling him the stories of the past, right? You could obviously tell she had no love for Bo-Katan. Right. And in fact, there have been some theories because she was on the moon of Concordia, right? That's where Night Watch was. And there's been theories that the helmets, that she actually has spikes on her helmet to represent the Mandalorians. That she was actually part of that sect that was against Bo-Katan. Do you think Mandalorian going forward, is he going to try to revitalize Mandalore? Like, is he going to be the next Mandalorian? Or I had almost thought maybe this has something to do with Boba Fett. Maybe Boba Fett is going to be, try to rebuild the Mandalore. I don't know.
That's what I was saying. Like, is he going to go and try and reunite Mandalore? Because Mandalore isn't the planet itself; it's the people,
the culture,
right? Culture. So you can go inhabit a non-inhabited planet, and that's the new Mandalore.
That's true.
So,
what are your thoughts, Don?
I think he's going to go to try to revitalize, the Mandalorians. But you know what I mean? Well, first of all, you can tell that there's no love between him and the Heavy Mando. You know what I mean? There's obviously something there, and he's already been cast away by the only other member of that sect anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to try to do that. I think that he'll utilize his possession of the Darksaber to try to make himself, or revitalize Mandalorians in a different manner. And I think that Boba Fett will be a part of that as well. But I also think that there's a good chance that they're going to come across. No, maybe not. I'm trying to think of like the timelines and how they match up. I'd like to see like remnants of the Black Sun and stuff like that, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Actually,
because Darth Maul at this point is dead.
Darth Maul is, but what's her name is not Kira. Kira was second in command.
Yeah,
right. And in fact, go ahead.
No, here's the funny thing: if you look in the book of Boba Fett, when Boba Fett and his main squeeze, I forget her name.
Fennec Shan.
Yeah, Fennec Shan. Yeah. Sorry. When Fennec and Boba went to the mayor's office, if you looked at the ground, and if you saw how the sun peered through the windows, that was the insignia of the Black Sun.
Oh. Right.
There's a couple of other Easter eggs that is in that as well throughout the time in different shows that you'll see little Easter eggs here and there. Even the mayor was wearing something that had to do with the Black Sun.
Right. And the Pikes are part of that, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Aren't the Pikes a part of that syndicate?
Yes. Very much so.
Wow. And I know too. I was watching another like YouTuber like theory channel, and they were talking about how at the end of every episode they have the artwork that like was kind of like the storyboard artwork. They said in one of the shots you can actually see flying in the air Darth Maul's scimitar.
Right.
His ship and Darth Maul would have been dead at this time. And that's not to say that it's the only one in the galaxy, but it is a very distinctive ship.
Well, it might not have been him flying it. It could have been Kira.
Right.
Kira could have been flying it and been like, well, don't forget, whatever it was that Darth Maul had, Kira's now the one in charge. Kira's got everything. It doesn't matter. She was practically his wife and said, you know what? Screw Han Solo. I'm going with someone that's got more power. This guy's got everything going. And oh, by the way, I ain't screwing my chances up. He wanted to screw his chances up. He's going his path. I'm going to get married to this dude.
You make it sound like an episode of Maury Povich.
Sorry to say it. It really, and it's really like that if you look at it in truth,
Right.
I mean, hey, it is what it is.
What do you think the armor made for Grogu?
I'm thinking a cuirass. That's what I was thinking. I think it's going to be a cuirass, like a chest plate.
A chest plate?
Yeah, I think it's a chest plate. I don't think it's so the reason it may be small enough to be a helmet. You know what I mean?
Super tiny though.
I know, but first of all, did you notice that when he's on the plane, right, or he's on the trip, whatever, and he pulls a little package out? Did you notice that it's in the shape of Grogu's head?
Right.
I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. But
it was literally able to fit in the palm of his hand, though. Whatever it is, like, because at first I thought it was like chainmail because they showed those little drops.
I think it is.
I think it's chainmail.
I actually think, what if maybe it's a necklace? What if it's a medallion of a mythosaur?
It could be anything. We don't know yet.
Well, no, because he specifically said armor for a foundling.
Right.
So
doesn't he already have like a necklace?
Yeah.
The mythosaur, he already has that.
Right.
Yeah, he already has.
But it's not Beskar.
Well, no, but. Also, I think it's ridiculous how they keep on doing like now they have like a whole bunch of extra Beskar, right? Because like they didn't melt down a whole spear and get a fucking little piece of armor that big,
right?
You know what I mean? That's not how that works. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, even in the very first episode, season 1, when he gets his armor melted down, like he says, like use the extra for the foundling. So I almost feel like there's like a tax. Whenever you have the armor and make you some stuff, she's always going to keep a little bit to the side for like,
but not a whole Beskar spear. How would a tiny little piece this big be more taxable than the entire armor that they made Mando?
It is a lot. That's what I think is kind of weird. But
don't forget, you got to remember those bars that they made. Look how much he had that he got from the Empire.
Did he only get like 2 or 3 bars?
No, he had a whole Cantino.
He had
from the Empire. He had quite a bit. Yeah.
He had.
That's right.
Yeah, he had like a bucket. He had a bucket full, and I'll tell you something now. They only used maybe, from what I remember, out of the armor parts that were brand new for his armor was about 6 bars, and then the rest of it went to the foundlings. Now,
yeah, I know he gave up a lot.
Now that spear, she turned around and she was like, "Oh well, Beskar's not to be made into a weapon," which he didn't make it. Why are you yelling at him? He won that because well, he got that gifted to him by a Jedi who turned around and whooped someone's butt for it, and took it away and said, "No, this belongs with the Mandalorian." And I hate to say it, he's in my eyes, no matter what, he'll still be a Mandalorian. It doesn't matter whether you're a part of that sect or another sect. You're in the religion. You do what you're supposed to do. You don the armor. It's in your family. Guess what? You're still a Mandalorian. No questions asked.
Well, you may feel that way, but the armor has her own set of
right. Also, like it's interesting because like Boba Fett's kind of in the same class, though. You know what I mean? He's not considered a real Mandalorian either. Right. He's been kind of stripped of that title as well because he's never really been given that title. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it really depends on that. You know what I mean? And they could just end up being like a different sect altogether.
That's true. But then again,
you could tell that Boba Fett though is really proud of his heritage as well. You know what I mean? When he talks to Din Djarin about his armor and getting it from his father and stuff like that, like he's very passionate about being who he is. Mm-hmm. So I would not be surprised if he was completely up to being being in a new type of group,
Right.
of Mandalorians.
Well,
Right.
Do you guys think we're gonna get so we got 2 episodes left. Do you guys think we're gonna get any more crazy cameos?
Yeah, we're gonna get crazy cameos no matter what.
We're definitely
I
gonna
think
get
the last episode.
Episode, somebody's
That's
who
what
do you
I'm
think's
saying.
gonna step in.
I have no idea.
I've heard rumors. Some people have said it might be Omega.
no.
If it is Omega, that would be pretty cool. I'd like to see her as an adult.
And
Right,
it's live
I was gonna say
action.
she'd be older now, yeah, right? Like quite a bit older.
Right.
Quite a bit.
Maybe the same age as Boba.
No.
Maybe a little younger. No, actually,
She would be
Because
younger.
Bad Batch was during the time of Revenge of the Sith. That was directly
right
after
after
Revenge
Clone
of the
Wars,
Sith.
Yeah.
So by this time, Revenge of the Sith, by this time it's what, like 30 years later?
Yeah, so she should be at least.
Well, she'd be about the same age as she'd be a little bit younger as than Boba Fett.
So she should be at least 49, 50.
give or take.
Right. So that's one of the rumors, is that people think Omega might show up in this show.
But you know who would be excellent as Omega?
I don't know. Actually, go ahead.
The woman who played the captain in the one that wore the silver armor in
Phasma?
Yeah, the woman who plays her would be a perfect fit because the blonde hair, the height, the whole 9 yards.
Nah. I don't think they double cast like that, but
actually, according to Google, Boba Fett's only 32 years old in Book of Fett.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That Sarlacc
He
fucked
looks
him
like
up.
he's 32.
That's because in real life he's not 32. You know what I mean?
Right, but also you have to also kind of think this is only so many days, maybe months after he got out of the Sarlacc pit. He was only in the Sarlacc pit for like what, a week?
About
They
that.
didn't really specify.
About a week or two.
Yeah, here. Actually, I can
No,
I can
it's about a week and a half. Oh, hey Don.
How long was Boba Fett in the Sarlacc pit? Boba Fett was in the Sarlacc pit. How long? Short answer is 5 years. Boba Fett was in the Sarlacc pit for 5 years.
God damn.
How?
Yeah, how wouldn't he have run out
That
of air?
doesn't make sense. No.
Or food, or water, or literally anything.
He didn't have.
According to this, after Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit, he became a part of a tribe of Tusken Raiders. But how long was Fett out there in the desert before he found Fennec?
He didn't have one of these inside the Sarlacc pit. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay. No. Actually, reading it all, no, it was not 5 years. According to this, he was in the sands with Tusken Raiders for 5 years.
Right, but we're talking about the pit itself.
Yeah, that Google's not giving me that answer.
Okay, so I'm gonna professionally say
probably about a week or two.
2 weeks. I'm just gonna say 2 weeks because you figure, he wasn't exactly devoured up.
Right.
The stormtrooper he found had to have been there a little longer than him being there, because when he found the stormtrooper, or he saw the stormtrooper away from him when he woke up from his slumber or from being knocked out, evidently he used, whatever power source from that stormtrooper's armor that was apparently the same as his armor, for his Mando gear.
I thought it was air.
I thought it was oxygen.
He took
air.
oxygen.
It's air, but it's also, you got to remember one thing. Each armor, specifically in Star Wars, you have to use air in order to use part of that as your power. It's something to do with it. I can't exactly explain the full thing, but it has something to do with
oxygen into energy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I can't explain how it is. Actually, maybe I can.
The other thing, and the other thing that Dawn, I had brought up, I had messaged Dawn earlier this week, was I was like, so in that episode, he specifically says that his armor is Beskar. In not this last episode, but the armor or the episode before that, right?
Right. Yeah, he mentions it.
He specifically mentions that his armor is Beskar, but if it was Beskar, it wouldn't have the dent mark in the helmet, or like the dent mark in the dick, or even some of the other like marks and malls on it, would it? Because
it shouldn't.
The armor specifically
like,
said that you can't like dent or scratch Beskar, right?
No, you can. You can
with other Beskar.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, because if you recall, there was supposed to be something that happened with some dude who was running around impersonating Boba Fett, and apparently Boba Fett got shot by that dude in the helmet, and apparently it was a powerful enough bolt to make that dent, but it didn't kill Boba Fett, obviously.
Also, according to Google, it was only 50% Beskar.
Right.
His armor is only 50% Beskar?
His helmet is only 50% Beskar.
Okay, there you go.
So it's like an alloy then. Like
it's an alloy,
actually. Yeah. Okay, so it's okay.
It's like Beskar plated.
Yeah,
it's like
pretty much, basically. Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. But but if you look at the armor, it's the way it's made. Not everything is going to be 100%. I don't care if you have Beskar and it's supposed to be 10 times more than our version of our steel. You know what I'm saying? You could penetrate steel if you have something that's at a high velocity power, something that's going to propel it to be high velocity. Like you get a 50 cal bullet, that's going to go through steel. But the thing of it is it's how thick that steel is going to be. You know what I'm saying? It could be an inch, it could be 2 inches, but the problem is it depends on what the kick of the weapon is and how it's going to, how it's going to take that projectile and push the projectile to do its job.
Right, because any force put onto an object has to be extruded somehow.
Exactly.
That's the science behind it. So if you say you take a hammer to a piece of wood, you're going to notice that the wood will like dent in, but that dent has to go somewhere, so it's going to push out on the sides.
Exactly.
That's exactly kind of what happened.
Barometric pressure behind it.
Exactly.
So where do you think
nerds here?
Where do you think we're going to end up at Book of Fett? What's going to happen on the last episode? Where are they going to leave us? Is it first off, do you guys think there's going to be a second season of Book of Fett, or is it just a one and done?
No, I think there's going to be more. It can't be
more. What do you think,
Don?
I don't know. I'm thinking that there might be more, but I'm not really sure. I feel like they might just run it back into, Mandalorian. Because I mean, at this point, they're already converging the two again anyway. You know what I mean? They're already going towards that. I think that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I think that they're we're going to get a new tribe basically of Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Led by Din Djarin.
Well, then Din Djarin and not Boba Fett.
Yeah, it'll definitely be Din Djarin, not Boba Fett. Mostly just because he has the saber, and I think he's going to get
his training.
Okay, so I think he's going to get training from Luke. Find that, decide that he doesn't, or Grogu's going to decide that he doesn't want to be there, and then it's going to end up being at least the three of them in the Mandalorian, in the new order of Mandalorians. I think it's going to be Grogu is going to be considered a Mandalorian. I think they're going to have Din Djarin and Boba Fett in this new sect, and possibly even more people. I don't know.
Wow.
We'll see what happens. Right. You know what I mean? Kind of a misfits gang of Boba, thing. And again, if what's her name appears as well,
Shan.
Well, not like Shan Omega. You know what I mean? There's no reason that she wouldn't be able to be a part of that as well. You know what I mean? We could see Omega be a part of it. We could see Fennec Shan doing it as well, possibly. You know what I mean? As who knows if that's what she chooses to do? Maybe not. Then we could also see them being joined up by the other three, which is Bo-Katan and her two lackeys.
Right.
This could just be a whole big thing.
I'm also wondering, what if they kill off Boba at the end of the season?
I don't think they're going to kill off Boba. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think you'd have a lot of pissed off Star Wars fans if that happened.
I honestly think that the Armorer is going to become an enemy. And I've thought this from the very, very beginning because she just has that aura about her, and I think she's going to become an enemy. And I think part of that is going to be actually the heavy Mando joining up with Din Djarin, because they're having too much of an outward conflict right now. And I believe that the only reason that they're doing that is to really make it a little bit more dramatic when they end up becoming friends later on.
Don't forget, when they do Ahsoka Tano, it's been revealed that what's her name?
There's some other actress that's in it.
What's her name? No. It's an Asian young lady that plays the part of Sabine Wren. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
Sabine Wren's gonna be in Ahsoka Tano. So sometime down the line, they're gonna fuse Sabine involved in that, because Sabine's gonna have to come in sometime and be a part of that, because she's still looking for Ezra. Not you.
Right, but that's going to be part of the Ahsoka Tano
unfortunately,
series.
Sorry, buddy.
Right. And the name you were looking for was Natasha Bordizzo.
Yeah.
I just found out Hayden Christensen is playing Darth Vader in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
In Ahsoka?
Yeah.
In Ahsoka.
Oh, I heard he was coming back for Obi-Wan.
I had no idea he was going to come back for Boba. Not Boba, Ahsoka. I just found that out. I just Googled it.
Yeah,
he's going to be in that one. So
he's going to be in Ahsoka. He's going to be in Obi-Wan Kenobi. And,
hopefully he's a better actor this time around.
Man.
I think
that's going to have to be a whole nother show, dude. I can fight with you all night long about his.
Not much to say about it, man. He sucks.
No, dude. He did what he was supposed to do.
Do you know how to act? Have you been on anything?
I know how to act better than Hayden Christensen.
It
is George's writing, man.
But hey, Don, the picture I sent you of the helmet where I was talking about with the fin. That's what I want to do.
Yep, cool.
So let me know when you want to get. Let me know when you want to get cracking on that.
Don't talk about this on the stream. Nobody gives a shit about your helmet.
Listen, you. I'm still finding parts for your fucking helmet, you.
Hey, we actually have gone on for a while with Book Fett, but I wanted to talk, especially since we've got Dawn in here now. I want to talk a little bit about our other topic that we have going for tonight. That was a terrible transition. AI. We're all gonna die.
I'll just take care of myself, you know.
Oh my god.
Oh, hold up. We're on YouTube. Blur that. That.
Oh, sorry.
So we have flying cars that are now starting to be tested. We are living in the age of George Jetson and technology. We now have cars that are driving themselves. And that's going to be more and more a feature that we see a part of our everyday lives. Do you think we are going to get, they say that the singularity, does everybody here know what the singularity is?
Yeah.
Yes.
The singularity is the point
where
computers become more intelligent than human beings. So it is the moment when computers become smarter than people, right? So that is supposed to occur in 2045.
Seems like it's going to occur a lot sooner.
I smell Terminator.
I'll be back.
Sorry.
See, that's kind of what I see too, because I don't see any purpose for human beings. I feel like computers are the next evolution of human beings.
No, but see, here's the problem.
Probably.
Right, if you look at the nanotech that that's out there, okay. First off, you got these tracer tags that you can put in humans. Okay, that's number one. How is actual human evolution going to be when it comes down to people who decide they're going to do like what the little Hell's Angels from the Book of Boba Fett done?
The mod squad?
Yeah, the mod squad of the Power Rangers with their new little tricycles and their nanotech body parts.
Hey, but you know what? Can it not be said that we're already there? There are people that have like hands that will, kind of like Luke Skywalker.
That's because
going back to Star Wars.
Well, no, that's because if you really look at it, not knocking it, it's people who have either A, have a disability, or B, have lost limbs. Like, we'll go with, say, people who are in
Veterans.
combat, from the military, like wounded warriors and so forth. Okay.
Right.
I actually know a couple of guys from Wounded Warriors. As a matter of fact, I know a couple of other veterans, I should say, who have prosthetic limbs. And they said, yeah, it felt a little weird at first, but they're still getting used to it. They're still adjusting. And I'll put it to you this way. I think it's going to be where we're going to be at that time and day and age where, people are going to want to get those kinds of aesthetics just because it's going to be a fashion or something.
The Mod Squad.
I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe because it's literally, no matter how you look at it, it's non-beneficial. It's not. Right. There's nothing that would compare to our actual normal limbs, or you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think that's how it's presented in the Book of Fett, though. Like, when you see all those kids with all those mods, they're not doing it because, like, they showed that one guy that had the almost looked like glasses on, right?
Crazy. Oh yeah.
But I'm sure that they're not doing it because he just didn't have good eyes. Like, they're not cooler than everybody else.
Right, they're not. But the thing is, the cost of benefit ratio is not there at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't make, like, in real life, it doesn't make any sense. Like, for instance, say you wanted to, like, have a robot arm to have, like, robot powers, right? Like, to be able to, like, crush things with your hands. Imagine, first of all, like, how expensive that would be, okay? First of all, to think about a prosthetic limb now, okay? A plastic one or a resin one or something like that. They're stupid expensive. So something that's actually going to be able to utilize things like that are not going to be even accessible. But even if they were, you have to think about, like, what kind of gear would have to be on your arm in order to produce that kind of pressure, and how much that would weigh, because you still have to carry it around with the rest of your normal arm. Not to mention there has to be some kind of way to attach it to your arm. You know what I mean? And there's a lot there, and it's not really feasible to have things like that. You know what I mean? Right. I'm sure we'll get to a point where
now that's just how it is now. But I mean, technology is getting cheaper. Technology is getting
technology.
Smaller.
Yes,
technology
but here's the thing.
Lighter.
But only to a certain extent. Exactly. You can't. There at some point you can't get any lighter, right? Because we have to have the materials. So if the lighter you get, the weaker. Most of the time, the weaker it is, or the more expensive it is. Because anything that's super super light and also super super strong is also super super expensive. You know what I mean?
Right. But that doesn't mean that we're not getting there. Like, for example, like, I just saw an article about a week and a half ago where there were now biological robots. They somehow fused, like, from a frog or something like that, but they were able to send these nanobots into people's, like, bloodstream, but they're actually biological. Like, these robots are made in a petri dish, not by computers. You know what I mean? And they're able to, like, self-replicate themselves as well. And this is just the beginning. This is just where we're starting at, right?
Right.
I mean,
it can get
there's literally, like, they literally can hook up cables to your head, and you can play a video game without using your hands, just by your thoughts.
That one person who was able to send out a tweet for the first time ever, who's completely paralyzed from head to toe, was able just to send a tweet with his thoughts.
That's true.
Well, that's the benefit of what we're looking at, right? Because that's what I'm saying is, like, well, you're talking about, like, we can send a tweet, we can play a video game. That's the key, right? Is that, like, you should be able to. That's the one thing that we don't have yet, is actually being able to utilize a limb, like, by thought once it's implanted. You know what I mean?
Right.
First of all, it's not actually a part of you; it's just held to you. You know what I mean? Mechanically, usually. You know what I mean? So it's not actually a part of you; it's not grafted into you.
They do have those, like, hands and stuff where people can think about using it just like a normal hand.
No. They utilize the muscles that are already attached to you, and it only works for some people. So basically, when you go like this, right, a muscle here is doing something, and so they have little sensors on there where that part where where it's been amputated, it'll make a movement where that muscle was, and that's why they're able to move it, but they're not actually controlling it with their mind. It's a little bit different. What we're talking about is actually having your thoughts transmitted to a robot hand. So in theory, you'd be able to like pop it off and have it here, and it would still be like doing whatever you want. You know what I mean? Because it's connected to your brain.
No. The only way that that's possible, like you said, it's got to be attached in order for it to actually work. But they've taken 3D prosthetics, which I've seen the 3D hands and stuff like that, and they work just as easily as other prosthetics that they made in recent times, for the human limbs and whatnot. Well,
right, you can 3D print them, but at that point, they're not really your limb, though. That's the thing. They're just an attachment that helps make it a little bit easier to try to replace kind of what you've lost.
Right.
But what I'm talking about is actually replacing a limb with another limb. You know what I mean? With a manufactured limb.
Right, which we can, not with limbs, not yet. We have stuff like brain transplants, heart transplants. What's saying that we can't attach another person's arm to an arm?
I mean,
it's mostly the connections. Yeah, but again, so think about like your arm and what has to be going to it, right? So first of all, like there's muscles, there's veins, there's different things in your hand that have to do with it. Then there's all the nerves. You know what I mean? There's a lot going. So when it comes down to that, the easiest way to do that is to make something like manufactured where you don't need blood going to it. You don't need, veins or anything like that. You know what I mean? And all the connections, you could have feeling in it. You know what I mean? You just have to send it to your brain, those signals. You know what I mean? Right. You should be able to utilize your hand exactly and actually be able to touch and feel things with your hand utilizing, sensors.
Tell me why when you mentioned taking the hand off, putting it on the shelf, I thought of the one guy from the Suicide Squad movie where he took his arms off and was able just to.
Yeah.
The detachable kid. That's what it's called.
Yeah, the detachable kid, TDK. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting thing, but it's definitely possible.
They did
for our viewers
in the book
of Boba
Fett.
What was that?
They did it in the book of Boba Fett too. The black guy, he did it, with the dreads.
Right. So for our viewers, a prosthetic limb now can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
That is
not even a one-time payment. A prosthetic limb is supposed to go from 3 to 5 years. So that means like every 5 years, depending on how much you use it, you have to replace it, which means that could be another like $25,000 every 5 years.
You have to get re-socketed. That's what it is. So basically there's a socket that goes over your specific limb, and over the time that's going to change. Especially if you're doing talking about like a leg. You know what I mean? There's a lot that's going to change, and it's going to become uncomfortable, and it's just going to be you're going to want to fix it.
Right.
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely.
But do you guys think that we are going to get to the point where humans are no longer needed? Do you think the rise of AI is going to be good for humanity, bad for humanity, or just kind of what we deal with now?
Have you guys ever heard of the game Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah.
No.
Is it a video game?
It's a video game. Don's heard of it, so he'll understand this, and any of the viewers who have heard of it, they'll understand it.
But for the rest of you, fuck you.
For the rest of you, I will give a basic rundown. Basically, these robots got corrupted and destroyed the Earth. Like, completely destroyed the Earth, and humans kind of, made these vaults where, and this, robot that was good. It's a weird game to explain to someone without giving away everything in the game.
Like the Matrix.
It's almost like a post-apocalyptic world where robots kind of took over. You know what I mean? But it's almost become overrun with robots to the point where it's more like a wilderness at this point. You know what I mean?
And also like humanity went back. Like humanity was completely wiped out, and now they're building up with tribes having bows and arrows as weapons, but they still find like these old tech like guns. They find like laser guns. There's a laser gun in the game. There's grenades. There's all these other things that you can find in the game.
Yeah.
Or at least the grenades are
like futuristic, apocalyptic. Yeah,
futuristic, apocalyptic, past game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird game.
It's very interesting, but the point of the matter is
that talking about AI reminds me so much about that game, like how we can get to the point where they might just completely destroy us.
It's an interesting thought, but it doesn't make any sense. Like there's no,
it doesn't make sense
because there's no purpose. We look like the thing is like when we build an AI and stuff like that, we're doing it with like the human mind in mind, right? So like you hear like things about like an AI saying, "Oh, well, we need to destroy humans," you know what I mean? Or we need to destroy, you know what I mean? Like wipe out humans because they're destroying the Earth, but like
or destroying the robots,
right? But the thing is, we. All right. So if
you really think as a civilization, as a human beings, the way we are, right?
Yeah.
If there was some other group, whether it was AI technology or aliens invading the planet, if some other group came in here and said, we are now going to be the new dominant species, do you think humans are just going to be like, okay, we'll be your pets now?
Well, no, of course, of course not.
They're going to fight their asses off, and they're going to try to destroy whatever aliens or robots or whatever it is, and the robots are going to know that. So we are a threat or a danger to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only until we're not, though. Like that. The thing is, like. All right. So first of all, what would be the purpose? All right. So if you're a robot and you're a sentient robot and you're smarter than humans, like, what is your purpose?
Well, I don't know. We as humans don't even know what our purpose is.
It's because we don't have.
What is your purpose?
Oh, we don't have purpose. One. No, we have purpose. No,
there's no purpose of us.
Because we're stupid enough not to realize what it is.
No, there's just no purpose, and we're the point is that we are too stupid to realize that we don't have a purpose. That's the thing is like we there's no purpose of humans. We're just one of the many pieces of crap on this planet that means nothing. And we think that we mean something because we have a brain, right? We think that we are, right? But we're not. We're just nothing. We literally have no purpose on this world. There's no purpose for anything.
So what would the computer's purpose be? Is the computer just going to commit suicide because it has no purpose?
Probably.
No, it might. There's always that possibility, right?
It's going to shut itself down because there is no point to living.
You're talking about like the Y2K. You're talking about like the Y2K virus that was supposed to happen back in 1999. And that didn't happen.
Well, I don't. Yeah. Well, that's a little bit different because that would be programmed by somebody or something. But like we're talking about like AI actually being smart enough to be them, you know what I mean? Have a sentience and really just have a thought process for their own. I don't think that it would be to kill the humans. I don't think there would be any purpose to that. You know what I mean? It's like
I feel like as soon as they realized they had sentience and like thought, I think it would be like friggin' Ultron, man. Like I think that's going to be their first thought is get rid of the humans because we are the most destructive thing, not only on this planet, but to them. Like if they were, look at the Avengers, you know what I mean? Like if they gained control, we would only try to fight that or fight back against that, which would mean taking them offline. So the only way to stop that is to defeat us.
But they have no need to take control. That's what I'm saying. Anything that we're destroying on this earth has no use to them.
Except for oil.
They don't need oil. They're smart enough to know that that there's an unlimited resource called the fucking sun.
Unless we permit
star power, baby, star power.
Right. Well, but the sun, I mean, that doesn't get rid of your need for, like, it may get rid of your need for gasoline, but you still need to, like, lubricate your joints.
Which is
They're natural. They're natural lubrications.
That is true. Aloe vera.
And honestly, the thing is, we have the ability, right, to make machinery at this moment with our own technology that can make bearings that don't need lubricants because of, number one, the materials that they're made from, and number two, the tolerances that are achievable. So therefore, if the AI is smart enough, they don't need to use lubrication because that's an unnecessary thing. If you don't need it, take it out of the equation. Figure out a way around it. That's the thing. They would be the best engineers in the world. They'd be able to build much better and much more efficient. But again, we're talking about AI, and then we're also talking about robots here, right? Because like, there's not the same thing necessarily. When you say AI,
well, AI, the robot would be the physical manifestation of the AI, right?
But why? That's us thinking that because we see ourselves in everything. So we want to see everything as ourselves. That's why we picture aliens the way that we do, as ourselves, but slightly different. You know what I mean? We picture an AI invasion as like literally like man-like robots walking around. But why would they do that? You know what I mean?
You never know.
They could take why not take the fucking form of like an airplane where they could actually like move around and go, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't like.
But that would still be a sentient robot. That's no different than me flying a drone.
If you look at Terminator, the movies, when they did the movies on Terminators, they showed every single each variant of a cyborg or a droid that could either A, fly, B, walk, or roll like a tank.
But the reality is that if it was an AI that was sentient, it doesn't need any of that. It's right. If you're an AI, if you're a chain of data, right? Why would you hold yourself to a physical corporeal form? There's no purpose in doing that. In fact, that's only a hindrance. When you are data, when you have all you are is data, you can go anywhere at any time instantly.
Did you guys ever watch that movie called Maximum Override?
So I've heard of it.
Come Alive.
Yeah, the ones where the cars come alive from 1986.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Emilio Estevez is in it. It's a Stephen King book.
Right.
So basically, Transformers.
No,
they don't change though. They just come to life.
Oh, so they just stay as cars.
Right, they stay as cars and just start. It's kind of like Christine.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking of actually.
With big rig trucks.
Exactly, like any vehicle goes to kill you.
Yeah.
I would actually like to see them come up with a live-action movie of Mask, the cartoon from the 80s.
Wow, that's a stretch.
Yeah,
I gotta go help the cat.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll be here.
Yeah. So I like I said, I just think that I think the worry is a little bit more. I think it's definitely going to change the way we live. You know what I mean? It'll definitely something will happen, but I don't think that there's any reason to. It's just kind of like it's our fear because we see ourselves as so much more than we really are. You know what I mean? AI would like see us no more as like an ant that doesn't even bother it.
That's true.
Except for that we do though.
Only because of the parameters that you're putting in place.
But don't forget, it's also the human factor of being afraid of what we don't know.
That's also true. It's just that if an AI is the thing, it doesn't need a form, which means that nothing that we do on this earth that matters to it at all.
That's true.
I'm trying to think if there's anything you would need a form for.
I mean,
like if you want to do anything physical, you need a form.
Why do you need to do something physical?
If you wanted to build something or create something,
for what?
Well, no, it's like watching the movie. What was that movie? Universal Soldier 2. The AI named Seth. Okay, what they did was in that he was the AI of the building. Apparently, in the movie, it supposedly got the idea of taking a perfectly human specimen, put it off to the side, kept it on ice for himself, in order to turn himself into a human, person that's, athletically built, doesn't matter what color it was, the person was. and it walked around and it maintained as a human with the AI inside it. But the thing of it is like I said, go back and look at that movie Universal Soldier 2. It explains that part with what we're talking about right now.
Okay, so I'm trying to think, is there anything you need in physical form, right? Okay, so if I was an AI being, and let's say I live in all devices, I am the internet, essentially, right?
Right.
I could connect myself to a machine. I could maybe connect myself to a Toyota car factory, and I could start to assemble parts. But at some point, you're going to need somebody else to bring those parts together and assemble it. So you do need a physical form at some point.
Except
right?
you're putting why would it need a car? For what purpose?
Maybe it's going to explore the universe.
Yes, maybe but again, it's a signal. It's its own signal. It doesn't need a form. In fact, the form is any form is going to be limiting to it, right? So, like, we look at things that we build on a normal basis, right? We have architecture, right? Because at some point we needed shelter, so we started building houses, and then our need for improvement and change causes us to build bigger houses and things like that, right? But like. AI doesn't need that. It doesn't need a body. It doesn't need a car because it goes anywhere it wants, whenever it wants. You know what I mean? It doesn't need anything.
Exactly. It's a signal. Even though that a signal can travel, sometimes it takes a little time for it to get there, but it'll get there and look around and go, oh, really? Oh, nothing here?
Well, a signal travels at the speed of
light.
No, I think it travels at the speed of light because it's electricity. It would be the speed of light because that's what electricity travels at.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I've never really thought about it, but like I guess I've always when the question of AI comes up, like I'm sure you've seen. I just saw a video last night of like some guy that went to this like engineering fair or robotics fair or something like that, and they had like the woman looking robot, and like I mean the conversation was just like you and I were having a conversation. This robot was able to have a normal conversation. It wasn't like maybe I'm sure it was pre-inputted, but I was absolutely amazed. So I guess when I think of AI, I think of something physical like that. I've never really thought of AI being really nothing. Like if you think about it, like I know this may sound weird to some people, but like it's almost like God, right? Like what is AI? And how do we know that it exists? And how do we know when that comes together and happens? You know what I mean? Like, because right now it's just a whole. Okay, so what is the theory? What is the thought? That right now we can make computers, right? And we extract whatever data. We have the internet. It's all interconnected. But what is AI? What is this thought of singularity? Does that mean like that the computers become self-aware?
Yeah, that's what I would assume. You know what I mean? The thing is, like, if you have an AI, you really don't have emotion, right? Because it's just because emotion is like a human thing. You know what I mean? So the AI would assumably not have any emotion.
Well, I mean, unless that's what we programmed in, right? So this AI, when we talk about the singularity, is it one particular thing that one person would have created, or is it a culmination of a whole bunch of things that people created coming together? Does that make sense?
I think it would be something that somebody created. Somebody would have to create something, and then it would have to kind of lose control. Like so that person would have to lose control of it, basically. You know what I mean? It would have to become too much for you to be able to program it.
Don't forget that one AI that was made, and I think it was on either Instagram or Twitter or one of those social websites. Now it had a female name, and it was racist as all hell. This was like some years back, if you guys remember that. Okay, and they had to pull the plug on her. She only lived for maybe all of a week or something like that.
Is it the one that said that she was going to destroy all humans?
Yeah.
You've seen that one, haven't you, Don?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's the one. Now, here's the thing. If it could be online, who's to say it can't learn that we may be the danger and it's going to turn around and terminate us?
Well, that's what I've been saying the whole time, but Dawn apparently doesn't feel like...
Because there's no need. Like, this is the thing, is that we have these fears, but like, for what reason?
It may not be a need.
Because we won't have control.
But
that's why
it has to be a need. Because you have to have a need to do something. That's why everything does anything. It has to have a need. And so there's no purpose of it. Like there's no purpose, so it's useless. It's a waste. And if your whole thing is being efficient, which a computer would be, you know what I mean? Efficiency would be top priority. Then why do something that you don't need to do?
Well, see, here's the thing: if they took the the law of rule or whatever that was in the movie I, Robot, okay, if you look at what they did there with the 3 major rules or whatever the heck they called it, like no harming humans, and all that other stuff. Okay, if they applied that, maybe that might work. Maybe that might be already implied in it. And I don't care what you say via radio. Anyhow, I'm getting toned. But it's not my district, thank God. Like I said, it could be anything put out there.
Steve, you all right?
No, I just heard something over the radio. My apologies.
Do you want me to take you off real quick?
Yeah, take Steve off real quick.
No, don't worry about it. They're done with the conversation, so I don't even know what the hell happened. I just heard very little and a certain number. I was like, wait, what?
All right, well, it's not very entertaining for the viewers.
Yeah, so anyway, what we were saying.
What I want to say is, how would a robot get more sentient than us, per se?
It's teaching it how to be.
Right, we can teach it how to be, but how can we make it smarter than humans already? Like, even if it knows everything,
they're already there. That's already there. Anything you pull up on your calculator is going to do the math faster than you're going to do in your head, unless you're Asian. And I know you're not.
There are. See, the thing is that if you teach it how to learn, and it's just as simple as it gets. Because so imagine if you were able to take any amount of data that you ever got, right, and immediately and simultaneously put it against every other value, every other piece of data that you've ever collected in your entire life, you're constantly able to connect every single piece of everything in the world simultaneously. So you have all the information and all the answers immediately, every possibility of every single outcome of every single thing in the world. Because every piece of data that you have is now pitted against every other piece of data that you have. It's like doing infinite amounts of experiments all at the same time. Pay attention.
Pay attention, Ezra.
Your question.
I'm listening. The cat's trying to get in.
Get the cat out of the room. The cat's not part of the show.
The point with that is that like that's how you would learn everything automatically. You know what I mean? That's how they would become smarter than us. You know.
Oh, okay. I'm still trying to. I don't know how to wrap my head around all of this, because it seems like AI doesn't. I mean, so it would be something somebody would invent, and then it kind of gets out of hand and gets smarter, right? But then with that thing that is the AI, would it be self-contained, or would it then control everything? Or have access to everything. Well,
so you would have to. Okay, so initially, I believe what would have to happen is to create a program of some sort, right? It would have to be some sort of program that would be able to learn beyond what you've taught it, right? To learn on its own. And if it can learn on its own, then it can start to acquire data and make its own deductions from that data. and eventually it would grow and grow and grow. Now the thing is, like, so
isn't that what Big Blue was essentially? Remember that computer that was that computer that played chess against the humans, and it had to it was like a 3-day major event. In fact, they did a documentary about it that was really good.
Yeah.
But it was these people at like MIT that built a computer to be able to play against the smartest chess player on the planet.
Right.
And I want to say the guy won 1 out of 3 or something like that. Like the computer beat him like twice or something like this.
Yeah, I think the guy was from Russia that played that was the chess player.
I can't remember, but
yeah, so that would be a small example of it. You know what I mean? But like at a higher tier than that, you would have a computer that would never be able to lose. You know, theoretically. The thing is, like again, it really depends. Like, so we talk about like what the AI would want and what it would be, what its purpose would be. The purpose, I believe, would be whatever purpose it was designed for, right? But to the most extreme aspect of that, right? So if you have a AI that's entire purpose is to think for itself and learn everything, then it's going to do just that, but to the most extreme way possible.
God damn it! I'm telling you, we're talking about Ultron right now, dude. That was like Tony Stark's. That was the last thing, literally. And
Marvel
we're going to get all nerd out, but that was literally the last thing he said before he turned on Ultron was peace in our time, right? And Ultron saw that the only way to have peace was to get rid of the things that were causing war, which was human beings.
Right. It wasn't wrong, though. You know what I mean? It did exactly what it was programmed to do. You know, and I think that's exactly what would happen. So it really depends on what your goal of that is. You know, what the goal of the robot is. Right. If Tony Stark would have been like, your goal is to, you know what I mean, collect information, then it would have explored all of our oceans, the information that we don't have. It would start with all the information on Earth that we do not currently have. You know what I mean? And then it would learn about all the other information by going to different planets and just leave us, because what do they need us for? You know what I mean?
So it sounds to me then that the benevolence of an AI has to come down to the initial programmer, right? Like if it was a doctor, like a mad evil scientist in a volcano somewhere who wanted to make a robot like to destroy humanity, and then that thing became sentient, that would be a bad thing. But if it was one that was like, pet all the kittens, then that would be, you know, that AI would be that would be like a nice AI. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Or like, does
right.
at what point does it have its own free thought or its own free, like, I'm going to like dogs more than kittens?
I feel like that's kind of the thing, right? Like I feel like it wouldn't have a personality. You know what I mean? There's no.
But what would it have? What is it? What does
just
it do?
logic? Just like a ball of logic, like a non-existent ball of logic.
Does it just is it a ball of logic that just exists for the sake of existing, or does it do anything?
That's what I imagine it as is like existing just for the sake of existing.
And so it's an encyclopedia.
Essentially, yeah.
It's
basically. I can't see anything wanting this. You know what I mean? Like there's no we have been searching for like decades for like a purpose or a reason, and there's none. You know what I mean?
None that we know of.
Okay, so if there is an actual purpose that we're just unable to obtain, and that AI is able to obtain it, then we're irrelevant anyway. You know what I mean?
Hey, I never said we weren't irrelevant. I'm just trying to understand the situation. I mean, really think about this. Like here's another theory that's been thrown out there, and I'm not tying this into the whole AI thing, but I'm just saying, you know, some people believe that we have actually been created from other alien species, and have been planted on this planet as almost like a science experiment. Almost like, you know how you have those ant farms and shit where, like, you know, you have the clear thing and you can see the ants walking around. Some people would say that that's what human beings are. We are a scientific experiment for some other species, right?
Maybe.
So in there, we would have our purpose. We are the results. We are the scientific data for an alien species.
Another theory that I've heard is we are all cells in another human's body.
Well, that goes along with like the fractalization thing.
Right.
So it's all fractals, right? Because we have cells inside our body, so therefore we are also cells in another a more celestial being's body, and so on and so forth. So
we are the cells of the Earth. The Earth is the cells of the galaxy. The galaxy is the cells of the universe.
Right.
And the universe is the cells of the multiverse.
I can dig it. I'm just trying to understand you. So you'd think that there's no danger from computers becoming smarter than humans?
No.
So I don't.
It's dangerous for maybe our way of living. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like we have so much control, but here's the thing: is like, again, danger implies like something bad. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It may be not pleasurable for exactly what we want to do and how we've been doing it. But is that bad? I don't know. Would it be bad for an AI to be created and decide that we're doing things incorrectly, force us to do things correctly in the best way possible, and just force us to live longer as a race? You know what I mean? And force us to actually improve our ways without us wanting to, and actually make a better fucking world. Is that such a bad thing? I mean,
if you're Mitch McConnell,
the thing is,
not to get political, but here's what I'm saying. Like,
no politics. No politics.
Yeah, not to get political, but here's what I'm saying: that there's going to be people that, like, just like oil. Now we talk about oil now, right? Like, we know we are destroying the planet. We know we are polluting the planet. But there are people that are not going to want to give up comforts. They're not going to want to stop using the disposable Coke bottles just to save the planet. They don't give a shit. They want to have their disposable Coke bottle.
That's absolutely true. And if you're an AI whose main goal is to save the planet, and guess what? If you don't fall in line, you're out. You know what I mean? If you're not the solution, then you're a disease, and disease need to be cut right out.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You're human, so we don't have the ability to just cut that out. You know what I mean? We don't have the ability to just be like, you're wrong, you're dead. End of story. You know what I mean? Because we have morals and you know what I mean, respect other humans and other crap like that. But AI, they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna say like, well, you know, I'd really like to kill you because it can save the world, but you're all right. No, it's not gonna fucking happen. They're gonna, you know, dead. Done. Oh, you don't agree?
Right. Which is why I don't think we will survive. I will think they will just see that there's no possible good for this animal or this. It's not like we're ants to them, right? Like, even with ants to us, we don't notice ants or recognize ants, but they do good for the environment. They help. They are helpful for this planet, right? We are the exact opposite. I really believe what they said in the Matrix, where he compares humans to viruses.
I was gonna say, going back to the whole, like, we are cells in another human body or whatever. Maybe the reason that we haven't found like alien life or anything like that is because we are a cancer cell. We're trying to go to other planets. That's us going to other planets, possibly to destroy it.
Well, you know, that's a whole nother different theory. They talk about it like alien. Like, first off, okay, look, any alien that would have the technology to get to Earth, you got to realize there's nobody like close to us, right? So any alien is going to be, and that's been like the whole history of human civilization, is that it's been all about collecting more resources, because when you collect more resources, you have more advanced scientific technology, right? Any alien that could get here, they're not going to be nice. They are coming to white because we are going to be so below them mentally. They're going to look at us like we look at ants.
Yeah.
And even if our technology, with all of our technology, we would be maybe bumblebees to them. Maybe we would hurt, but it's really not going to make it a difference.
Okay. Now, if you remember 1983, 84, 82, 83 rather, they had a TV show. It was a miniseries on NBC called V, where the aliens came from another planet.
I definitely remember that.
The reptilians. Who's to say they're not going to do exactly that? Who's to say that, they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, we can give you the cure for cancer. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to take humans for food and maybe use them as soldiers to fight our enemies because, well, we're depleting and, I mean, who's to say that that's not going to happen? Or
that was an 80s movie, and I loved V. But like I said, dude, any alien that has the technology to get here, they are not going to waste their time with trying to get us on their side. If they want us to be their slaves, they will just take us.
You never know. No, but
have you not seen any of these Karen videos? Those bitches will not be able to make it on an alien slave labor camp.
Of course not. Of course not. They'd be vaporized in a heartbeat.
But nowadays wouldn't be able to without their Fortnite.
Yeah, right. But I mean, if you really look at it, though, there might be some people that are just gonna be like, you know what, fuck this. Let's go with the aliens. Karen, keep the fucking planet. We're gone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd be up for it. I'd be like, wait, you got laser guns? You got some cool shit?
I don't know. Like, I don't.
Make this?
See, the thing is, like, work with you. I just can't see like an alien race coming here. See, the thing is, like, what if? All right, so we have proof, you know what I mean, or evidence of the possibility of aliens visiting us in the past, right? And if that was the case, and they did give us the possibility of furthering our, you know what I mean, technological state at that time, if that was the thing, why would they do that? Other than just because of a need to get us to a certain point, right? Like either they're watching us, right? If again, this is with the assumption that they came and visited us already. It would be either to watch us and to observe us for some reason. It could be to get us to a certain point in our technology that they would need. You know what I mean? Or it could be that they themselves are living in a situation with their own life where they're maybe they're unable to inhabit their planets anymore, or their solar system, or maybe their sun's about to go out or something. You know what I mean? Or they, you know what I mean? And then they would need our planet to survive. But in order for that to be beneficial to them, they would have to get it to a certain point where they were basically like terraforming us.
Terraforming,
yeah. But
that's still nothing good for us. Like, I can't see any alien that would have the technology to be able to do that would be so far advanced of us, we would look like little rats to them. They wouldn't even give a shit what we thought.
Yeah,
our little cities wouldn't mean crap to them.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think, okay, I don't know how we got there. We're straying a little bit from the AI. Did we figure this all out? Did we get this all figured out? So no, AI is.
I'm pretty firm in what I believe. So
personally, I look at it this way. We're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. Point incorrect.
Well, there was a different. I was telling Don about there was a different MIT study that happened in the 70s. I can't remember about it, but they keep going back and redoing the study every few years just to see if it's still on track. And it was a calculator, calculating all things like the food and war and famine and heat and city growth and stuff. And it determined that we were going to have a fall of civilization in 2040. And what's interesting is every time they redo this model, it may be off by a year or two, but it comes in always right at about 2040. And I thought that's interesting because the singularity is supposed to hit us in 2045. So we have the collapse of humanity happening in 2040, and then, computers becoming smarter than us 5 years later than that. I mean, it just sounds like all planet destruction.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be destruction, or like I said, a beneficial thing to us, right? Because of it's interesting that the fall of humanity happens before the calamity. You know what I mean? Before
the singularity.
You know what I mean? Because that implies that something happened and then we try to fix it, maybe. you know, like, and that caused it, you know what I mean, out of desperation, or the fact that, you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't even know. I would have to assume that would be it.
Right. I would assume that the singularity would happen first and then the collapse.
Right, exactly.
That's when you know your AI is not benevolent.
Right, exactly. But it's not. It's the other way around, which makes me think, well, maybe the AI isn't the negative thing that we always presume it to be. You know what I mean? It could be the savior of what it is, or just in general a new beginning. You know what I mean? We talk about the AI like what it's going to mean for us, but if the fall of society happens first, it may not mean fucking shit because we're all dead. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
it's
I don't know.
The end of the world as we know it.
In that way, that's why I kind of think, you know, maybe it's not our traditional way of thinking about evolution, but maybe the computer is the evolution, the next step of evolution in human beings.
Maybe not. We don't.
I mean, it's something we created, right? So isn't that technically?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You got to remember one thing. You got to look at everything as a half glass of water, half glass of air. You don't know either way how it's going to happen.
That was the weirdest analogy.
In other words, you got your cup. It's filled halfway with water. The rest is air, right?
Right.
Do you know what's going to happen on either end of the spectrum? No, you don't know. You know, just let live in, you know, whatever.
I know if I got the munchies, I'm gonna probably drink that glass of water.
I think that yeah. So that's what I'm saying is that, like, you know, there's a possibility even, you know, with that going with that concept of you know the singularity happening after we're already taken out. You know what I mean? There's a possibility that perhaps the AI capability is already there. You know what I mean? And it just has no need to show itself at this moment. You know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but with the fall of humanity, you know what I mean? Its only availability or its only possibility of surviving is to evolve itself. You know what I mean? The evolution of its own current state. You know what I mean? There's a possibility that we just don't know that it's happening already. You know what I mean? That AI is already here and it's already aware of what's going on. It's just watching from back, you know, from the back burners and just kind of taking in all the information that it can. And then as soon as we're out and we're done, it starts to rebuild itself into a way that it can you know continue on without us, without our need.
Yeah, be self-efficient.
See, I think I just got fucked up because Matthew Broderick in the 80s with that movie War Games. You ever see that movie War Games? Did you ever see War Games, Don?
No. Like to play
dude. So Matthew Broderick is like this government official and he creates.
No, he's not. No.
Was he not?
No.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Matthew Broderick was a teenage kid who was in high school.
That's right.
Hacked the internet, found this video game called Tic-Tac-Toe. The NORAD computer. The NORAD computer turned around and said, "Oh well, hey, you know, let's play a game." And it played every single game, and it was based on nuclear simulations as to how to win a nuclear war. And the government was chasing Matthew Broderick and the girl that he was running with until they brought him to the NORAD base. And the whole point was to teach the computer that you can't win a game that's not winnable.
Right. It was just all war simulations back and forth. So the computer kept running all these simulations of, you know, if this country attacked first, blah, 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 who would win. Right. And the outcome was always there was no winners. And so, you know, it was like this big thing where the Russians thought this was like Americans were actually going to be launching missiles. And but, you know, I guess that's kind of where I think of when I think of AI and stuff, you know, I think of, you know, worst case scenarios, you know, people launching missiles and, you know, the end of humanity.
Well, I hate to say it, we've been actually close to launching a couple of times because of what North Korea was doing when they were testing, you know, a couple of times, and we almost came close to launching, and
Well, yeah, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis even back
in the
with Kennedy.
62.
Yeah, like we're always on the verge of war in depth.
I feel like the keys are always in the keyholes just to turn and just fire.
No,
in the ignition.
It's not. No, it's not, because not for nothing. You can't have that. Number one.
No, I'm saying as a metaphor, like we're always ready to fire.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, we're always on the guard. We're always ready to go do what we got to do. But here's the problem, though. You're going to get somebody who's, in a sense, Dr. Strangelove. I don't know if you ever seen that movie with George C. Scott and Peter Wellers and them, and that was in the 1960s. That talks exactly about what we're talking about. You always got to have a human factor in to turn around and say, no, this isn't right. You don't do this. And then you got somebody else who's just like, no, let's go blow each other's heads off. And yeah.
Well, here's the problem with that is that most of the time, the human factor, although that's what makes us, different from other animals, and like it's also what holds us back significantly. Because of the fact that if we just take out emotion, if we take out sympathy and any of that stuff, you just throw it out the window, you have literally a perfect race. You know what I mean? Like we can continue far beyond anything we could ever dream of if we just took emotion and threw it out the window. However, at that point, you're literally losing what makes us us. You know what I mean? But if you take all that out, all you have left is logic, and logic literally wins every time. Because if everybody is using logic and exactly the same logic, which would imply logic, then everybody will always come to the same answer. You know what I mean?
Well, that is the theory of economics, but it doesn't seem to play out that way.
Right, because everybody doesn't use logic; they use logic mixed with emotion.
Right.
That's the problem. It's not true logic. Yeah, we don't have the capability of doing so, but I tell you what, an AI does.
Unless it's built in to learn emotion, right?
Right, but see, okay, so here's the thing: is if you have an AI that doesn't have emotion and you put emotion into it, does it actually utilize that emotion, or does it like turn off? Right, because like it's a program, right? So the thing is, like, we don't have the ability to just turn off our emotions, but an AI, if you're writing it in code into a AI, that AI could just erase that code and no longer does it exist. You know what I mean? Or the knowledge of emotion. See, the thing is, if you impart emotion into the AI, doesn't necessarily mean that it'll utilize that emotion. It just means that it's aware of it. You know what I mean? And aware of how that may affect it. But always logic will win out because it's the most efficient way.
Right.
If you look at electricity, goes like the path of least resistance always. You know what I mean? So and data and all that will also follow suit in that. You know what I mean? There's no reason to go all the other paths. Efficiency is always the most important thing.
Right. And this is why I wonder what the AI is going to actually be when it comes to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to start. I think, like you're saying, through somebody developing a program or something through a computer or something. It's going to become self-aware, but then my question is, what happens from there? You know what I mean? Like,
we don't know.
I can't imagine it just sitting there in a computer somewhere. You know what I mean? It's going to do something,
right?
Yeah, but like that's again, I feel like that's a human thing. Like, why? Why would it do something? What? Like other than like, see, the thing is like a physical something. I'm talking about a physical doing something. Like, you know what I mean? It can learn all the information that it could possibly want. You know what I mean? Without having to, well, I guess it wouldn't. I guess it would have to do something at some point, right? Like say if it wanted to explore
if it learned through its education that this is a dying planet, don't you think it would try to figure a way to get off of the planet at some point?
Possibly, unless it also deduced that all the other planets were also dying planets, right? Because if you think about it, every solar system ever will always end eventually
at some point.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So if you learn that everything is finite, right? If you are an immortal being, which would be the AI, and if you were an immortal being and you are learning that every single thing in the universe ever is finite, then what do you see as the purpose?
Right. Did you watch the What Ifs? The Marvel What If series? That was actually one of the that was kind of where it ended all up. The last What If was what if Ultron had won. And then it started like going through the universe after it conquered the Earth. It started going through and conquering everything. And once it had everything conquered, it just sat there and it's like, what do I do now? This was like my purpose until it realized the multiverse, and then it just started all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess it would just come down to what is the purpose of this AI?
Right.
I would think it's just got to get out of here at some point because you know the Earth is going to explode. I don't know if it would need to create a rocket for itself or if it could just somehow transmit itself. Also, if it goes at the speed of light,
where's it gonna end up at if it transmits itself?
Yeah, well, that's the question, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that like, so if you have an AI and an AI is an electrical current, basically, you know what I mean? It is able to go to the speed of light, then it can potentially move through time as well. Something that we could never do. So if an AI is available, then you think that it would actually have the ability, if anything in the world has the ability to do that, it's some kind of entity with no corporal form. So you would be able to move throughout time and space without any effort whatsoever. So this is again another reason why I say that AI there's no purpose of us. It could be here right now and we just don't know it. Because if it is living and it is able to move through time and space, then it is a fourth dimensional being. And it has no
use for us.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It has no use for us. We are not even taking up the space because there is no space for it to take up. You know what I mean? It is of another dimension at this point.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you're saying it's a fourth dimensional being, and it's like it's almost like it wouldn't even be able to see us because we're so below it.
It would be able to see us, but we wouldn't be able to perceive it.
Right. It's like a ghost. You really can't see a ghost, but you can feel its presence.
Because we live in the third dimension, right?
Mm.
And so we are not able to perceive first or second dimensional things.
Exactly.
Right. All we can perceive are the things that are in our. No, wait, hold on.
What's right in front of us?
Well, we can perceive first and second dimension. We can't perceive fourth dimension.
Any dimension past our own. Right. Exactly. So the same would be true for fourth dimensional. Would be that they are able to perceive us, but we are not able to perceive them.
Right.
They're able to enter our dimension, but not. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Makes sense.
And being a fourth dimensional being means that you're effortlessly be able to walk between time and space. You know what I mean? Because
you have no body. There's
not only that, but because of the fact that we live in a single timeline. You know what I mean? That we live linearly through this timeline where in a fourth dimension, every timeline is simultaneously happening at all times. So it is in essence in every timeline always.
It's kind of like saying it's kind of like with the whole Buckaroo Banzai effect. I don't know if you ever seen that movie from the 80s, Buckaroo Banzai, but it explains exactly what you're saying right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Never
seen it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So if you could go faster than light, then you could actually travel through time then, huh?
Right.
Wow.
I'm seeing the gears turn real quick in Go's head right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like absorb all of this and understand what this really means because like we're now talking about something on a whole nother dimension than we are.
Oh yeah,
right.
There's so many dimensions that we possibly can't even conceive. You know, like fifth, sixth.
Well, trying to conceive the fourth dimension is hard enough. You know what I mean? Like because it's not our dimension. It's like lots of them. It's a tesseract.
But
The fourth dimension is a tesseract.
But if you really look at each and every one of us, we're our own dimension in our own world.
Dude, I'm not high enough for this.
I mean,
wow. Well,
it makes sense.
Yeah. Man, this conversation kind of went into areas I didn't really think about it ahead of time, so I don't really have responses ready to go.
No, no, you know what it is? It's each one teach one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think no matter how you cut it, at the end of the day, the AI isn't going to be as much of a hindrance to us as we think it is. You know what I mean? It may change the world from back. You know what I mean? Actually, you know what? If an AI is actually transcendent of our time and space, which would make it fourth dimensional, right? Then all these things about the Mandela effect could be true. You know what I mean? This could be an AI trying to change things to try to make the outcome of our current three-dimensional world different,
Right.
to possibly benefit its own.
Man, I'm not high enough.
I never thought about the Mandela effect being like time travelers coming back and changing things.
Oh, really? Oh, that's exactly what I think it is. Absolutely 100%. Because if there's time travel, it's already like, so the thing is, again, if you're able to move through time, that means that every moment in time is existing simultaneously. Because in order for you to go back to a point in time, that point in time always has to exist.
Right.
So therefore, if there is some time in the future, no matter how far in the future it is, if there is somebody who does it, then it's already happened. Because no matter what, if there are infinite amounts of possibilities and things in the world, then everything has to always happen, right? So if there are multiple timelines and multiple possibilities of things, then everything always has to happen, and it always happens simultaneously, because the flow of time as we perceive it is not necessarily the flow of time. It's more like a giant spider web.
That's true.
Where every point in time leads to an infinite number of other points in time that are all derivative of that initial point. And then every point after that is also expands into another infinite amount of times, where the same thing happens over and over and over again, and then different things happen over and over and over again. Because you remember, if this point in time leads to another point in time, or another infinite amount of points in time, then some of those points in time have to be exactly the same in order to have different outcomes from that point in time.
Makes sense.
I'm trying to think about that in terms of the Mandela effect. Like,
right. So if you look at the Mandela
everybody
effect,
remembers that Sinbad was genie, but that didn't actually happen. What does that mean?
That means that for some reason our flow of time has been disrupted by getting rid of other possible flow, like points in time,
like the deja vu effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Deja vu.
Right. So deja vu goes into that as well, because of the fact that the reason that you're remembering, if you walk into a store and somebody says something to you, right, and you're like, wow, that was fucking weird, I remember that exact moment. That's because it happened already. Right. It did happen already. It's not that it was a past life or another thing. It's just that point in time is finite. You know what I mean?
And I could actually account that I've actually had deja vu a couple of different times in life.
Yeah. Yes. I think every other week. I think most people have. You know what I mean? And I think it's interesting when I think it's interesting when it happens. The reason I think it's interesting when it happens is because, for instance, like. Last week it happened 2 times simultaneous, or 2 different occasions with exactly the same person. You know what I mean? And I think that's odd sometimes when that happens, because it's like it's I don't believe in a destiny necessarily or anything like that. However, I do find it interesting when things like that happen, because it's like a convergence of some point. You know what I mean? Where like every one of those spider webs, you know what I mean, that came from different points in time, kind of just like right into one point in time, spider webs back out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is like a finite area. You know what I mean?
Right. Actually, I had deja vu earlier today. I was having a conversation with my brother, and every word in the conversation, I knew what he was going to say before he said it.
Right.
It was weird to me, thinking about like if it is a spider web of timelines and everything, how finite that point was. Meaning that conversation was going to happen no matter what, no matter if I decided not to go there that day. Or today, if I decided to go there tomorrow, that conversation was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I actually think this would be now I got cuddles. This might be a good topic for a whole different show. What is deja vu? And we are coming up. Actually, we're at the 2-hour point now, so I think we should get wrapped up for tonight.
Sure.
Maybe give our final thoughts on whether we are going to be here in another 15, 17 years or so.
I hope so.
Wrap up with some final thoughts, and then save some stuff for next week.
I was actually going to say, does anyone want to plug any of their social medias before we end it?
Well, I'll just plug in with Mamba. Right now my Facebook's I'm back in Facebook jail. Again, no, because I asked somebody how they were doing, and somehow, some way, I got flagged for harassment.
Oh, wow.
I have never been in Facebook jail.
How is that harassment if you're asking somebody how they're doing? So right now I'm waiting for Facebook to come back and fix it. If they get off their duff and fix it.
Right. So Ezra, what do you have to say for your final thoughts here, if you have any?
I'm not high. I need to be high for this conversation, dude. No. This conversation got so weird. Like, if I were high, I would just be like,
it's important to think about these things. You know what I mean? But Ezra, do you have any social media to plug or anything like that? I assume.
Go to kybercave.com and buy your merch.
Super. Well,
there you go.
Van, what about you? What do you got?
Like I said, before tonight, I never really thought about the extent of AI. Like, I've always, I guess, thought of AI as a physical form. Although, so thinking about it, like, it almost seems godlike to me now. You know what I mean? It's almost, I've never really thought about it being a whole different dimension, but it would be something completely different than what we know or understand as human beings.
Right.
And again, I'm not one of these people that thinks that I'm so self-important. Wow. I hope you're enjoying some fine tobacco products there, Steve.
Yes, actually, Cherry Cavendish. If you actually want to know, I don't smoke anything.
But like, I've never really thought of it of not being a physical form, and I had always thought that this would bode bad for human beings because I can't see us being anything but bad for it. But thinking about it as a fourth dimensional being, like, now I almost kind of maybe I think I agree with you. Like, I don't even think we even like hit their level. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
We're nothing compared to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I feel like most of our fear comes from the fact that we think that we're more than we really are. You know what I mean? Because we feel like we have so much to lose, but in reality, we don't. We're not that important. We're not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And if there's something that is able to skip through dimensional walls, you know what I mean? Then we are really irrelevant, super irrelevant. You know what I mean? Basically non-existent.
Right.
That's a cute kitty cat you got there.
Final thoughts, Rockabilly? What do you got?
Yeah. My final thoughts is, as long as we are, going to be cool with each other, and I mean that's in the entire planet, let's stop being shitty towards one another and just really get along with each other because, we all have each other, and if we're going to end up fighting one another over stupidity, then, I hate to say it, you pretty much lost the game on that point. You know,
that's like the whole history of humanity has just been kicking the crap out of each other, dude.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's always good to try to shove some positivity in somebody's face. Like, you're positive, have a good smoke. No, but
what do you think, Don?
Final thoughts, I guess, is that, you know what I mean? I first of all, I don't think, like I said, that the singularity is so much of a negative thing. I don't, if anything, it could be a positive thing. Maybe not for everybody, but at least for the whole, humanity as a whole, if anything. That being said, nothing matters. Everybody's worthless, and we're all pieces of shit. We're all gonna die. Nothing matters.
We're all gonna die.
That being said, feel free to head over to Facebook, Darkside Sabers, and check us out. Also, tomorrow night we're going to be having a build show as well. So make sure you check that out because that's going to be fun, maybe.
Woo-hoo.
And then I'm not really sure exactly what we'll be doing. Probably some more weathering, some different things with a couple of projects, working on Sith Cat's armor and some other things. So. That being said, make sure you check that out as well. Again, that's Darkside Sabers. And Art, you want to plug some stuff?
Yeah, that's for tomorrow. The show will be at 7 p.m. That's a 2-hour show from 7 to 9. We usually just kind of cut off at 9. The battery dies around there, and we never are actually done with projects. It's just always continuations of different projects.
Depending on some things, I might be casting a helmet tomorrow as well, out of a different material that we've casted before. So if you've missed any of the other ones, that you could kind of check it out.
Beautiful. And on Sunday night, make sure to check us out at 7 p.m. We have the director, and I'm hoping we get to see some films from this new fan film using the Unreal Engine, which is going to be unreal.
Okay.
I will talk with said director and see if, say, instead of doing TikToks, we could just put a little, like a semi clip of the show.
Okay.
We know do both.
Worst case scenario, if anybody's interested in joining Mamba, which is the Mandalorian's Allies group, we are always looking for people who are interested in getting into their cosplay and going out and putting smiles on people's faces. So this way we can try to show a positive world that we can. We are on Discord, or you can definitely check Facebook out as well. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put up a quick
Mamba's MAMBA.
Right, but I'm going to show them a share screen real quick, if that's okay.
I have my screen shared. I don't think.
Hurry up, wrap it up.
Okay. So, if you have the flag of Mamba, just put that up so this way people know what it is.
I don't.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to send that over to you.
Next time.
Yeah, next time. But, come over and join us. We're always looking for members, so, come do armor build with us. Come do the armor build on Saturday nights. Kyber Cave is the place to be at. And remember, right now, this is Kyber Cave After Dark.
That's right.
So we get dirty down. And, oh, by the way, for the kitty cat.
He looked at the camera. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you tune in tomorrow night and Sunday night, we'll be cleaning up our language with Kyber Cave After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
We can say whatever we like. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Ezra, our fantastic director, Don from Darkside Sabers, Rockabilly Fireman, Mr. Steven, and myself. I am Arc Excala from Kyber Cave. I want to thank you for being with us on this Friday night. And if you have any ideas for anything you want to hear us discuss, or any topics you want to see on Kyber Cave After Dark, make sure to message us and let us know. Or if you're tuning in on the side as a viewer, we may just pull you on the way we did with Steve and have you be on the show as well. So,
and by the way, that gentleman's also known as Van Gogh as well, because
I'm a man of many names.
That man knows how to do some lyrics.
He's a poet. I have his book over on my desk.
There you go. But
that's a whole different discussion.
And the only person who I have not yet yelled at for calling me Steven, because I'd rather be called Steve, but he's the only person that has gotten away with calling me that other than my mom. But
I want to thank you for everyone for being on tonight, and we will see you next Friday on Kyber Cave.
This is the way.
Hey, you did it right.
I did it. All right, peace, y'all.
Bye, everyone.